So, ombre. Okay, before we get into the wool and the colours, you need to decide how many colours you want to ombre. So I use 4, I could use 8. So what you do is, you don't include this top nail, count these nails in between, don't include the bottom nail. So when I divide mine by 4, it gives me 8, and then that's 8 rows for each colour. I could do 4 rows of each colour, but that would leave me less room to blend. So wool, I'm using 38 for this one because it's a gift for somebody. And so we've got 8 for cross weave 1 and the seam. Obviously white's the back colour. 8 for cross weave 2. Ignore where I melted the sofa. Then I've got 5 for the first colour, 5 for the second colour, 5 for the third colour, and I've got 7 for the last colour. You can use any amounts that you want. Obviously more wool makes it heavier. So start with the seam. I use this corner nail now because it just means less trimming at the end. So yeah, seam. Take it 3 times is enough, 4 times is better. So I've done it 3 times round because I'm not using more than 40. So cross weave 1, same as all other, or same as the super design, I suppose. Corner nail, down to the next nail, up, over 2, down, over 2, up, over 2, down, over 2, up. Carry on, down, back up. So 4 times with cross weave 1. Cross weave 2, top corner nail, across to the next nail, down, across 2, up, over 2, down, across 2, up, and so on. You don't want a lot of tension. You want some tension in these layers, but not loads, because you want it to puff out. You want the back to puff out and look like that twisted look. So mine ran out on the way back, but 4 times if you can get round, or until your wool runs out. So ombre, first colour onto your second nail. I've just had to undo all this because I said something wrong. Straight across, corresponding nail, down 2, across, down 2. So we want 5 rows. So this would be 4, this would be 5. So if you're doing 8 rows like I am, you can either do a blend of 3 rows or a blend of 2 rows. If you're doing a blend of 2 rows, which is easier, you need 6 rows here. So you would go down 1 more and go back up that side. But when you've got your 5th row, you go up to the top and you start again. You don't come back on yourself because these 2 rows would end up thinner than the rest. So this is 5 strings. And this is the second time round. And get to this side, back up to the top. Start the 3rd time round. When I've gone around, I will count and let you know. So I'm on for round, this is the 13th time round. As you're adding layers, you want to be making your tension less. Not loads less, but you just need it to sit on the layer that it needs to be part of. If you do it too tight, your frame's going to fold like a book. So 14. So I'm going to go for 20 times round. So that's 20 times round. 20 times 5 is 100. When you cut it into pom-poms, that 100 will be divided into 2. I mean, times by 2, which means each pom-pom will have 200 strands. So, you're ready to blend. So I've got all of the white and I've got one pink. If you're just blending with, if you're just doing a 2-row blend, then depending on the colours, the contrast of the colours, I would still use one pink if it's against white. If it was like cream or like eggshell, something not much darker than the white, I would use 2. So, nail underneath your last row of white. So 20 times round again, it will make this row thicker, but not by loads because there's only one extra ball of wool. So that's 2, 3, 5, again, 6, 7, adding less and less tension, 8, 9, 10, 15, 16, I mean that feels thicker already, so 17, 18, I'm just going to do 18. The beauty of the ombre is, because the colours are separate, you can add to the white, as long as you've not tied it and cut it obviously, you can add to it. You can add to any of them, any of the colours if you feel like they're not thick enough. So yeah, I'm just going to do 19. And I'll be back in a minute with the next row of blend. So for the next row, I've got all the white and I've got 3 pink this time. So if you're doing a 2-row blend, the easiest way to do a 2-row blend, no matter what colours you're using, is on your first row, all of your first colour with 3 of the new colour, and then the next blend, all of the new colour and 3 of the old colour. But obviously I'm doing 3 rows, so we've got 3 of the new colour, all of the old colour. And this time you can go around less because it's more wool. So I'm just going to go off how it feels. Your border is going to look pretty full, but there's enough room for everything. Just remember your tension, because your frame is definitely not used to holding the tension in this way. So that's thick enough for me. tie it around onto the nail it finishes on. You can take it up to the next nail or whatever, but you don't, there's no tassels from this design. Okay, my last row of blend, I'm going to use all of the pink and for 3 of the white. So again, this is more than when we did that part, so you don't have to go around 20 times. It's 8 balls of wool, so you can go off the feel or you can count. That's entirely up to you. You want it to, if it's gonna get thicker, which you can do, pom-poms get thicker as the colours get added, but you have to make sure that you have enough to do that. So I would buy 6 or 7 for each colour and 8 for the final colour if that's what you're wanting to do. If you're going off the field, remember to keep checking how it feels because it will look thicker than it is because of the top colours. So that feels good to me. Maybe one more. Then take the white away. Keep all your colours separate for if you're going to add on at the end. So that's your first blend into pink, and then going to start with the pink on the next nail down. And again, we're going for around 20 times or more if you can fit more. Remember, you don't want to run out of pink because we will still need it for the next blend. New colour added. So we are onto the first blend. Again, one of the next colour with all of the old colours. Or if it's a 2-row blend, 3 of the new colour with all of the old colour. Blending in the same way. So 3 against 5 if that's what you're doing, or if it's 3 rows like mine, 1 colour, 1 of the new colour, then 3 of the new colour, then 3 of the old colour. 3 rows of blend onto the next colour, 5 rows again, 6 rows if you're doing the 2-row blend. Third colour added, last blend, 1 of the new colour, same way as the other 2 blends. So I've actually done 4 rows of blend, 1 of the new colour, 3 of the new colour, then all of the new colour, 3 of the old colour, and 1 of the old colour. Then the rest of your board, so I'll have 7 rows left, you fill in your last colour. Like I say, you don't have to do, I just did that because I didn't want 8 rows at the bottom, it'll make it look a bit more even. But yeah, tying's next. So I've started tying and I've cut the top already. This is just to take the pressure off my frame. So white's tied in white. This first row of blend I've tied in white. The second one pink and white, and the third one in pink. So if you was just doing 2, it would be pink and white, or you could just do white and pink. Where your seam is, you're going to tie how you tie for the Kisses design and the original design. You're going to tie through the top and back through the bottom, and then through. So you're going to do the X tie. So I'm going to do it, but I'm not sure that how great the camera can see from there. So through the top and out the bottom, tie, knot it, cut it. So for these, obviously there's no seam. So what you do is, you're still measuring. So you're lining it up with your top nail or the bottom nail. So obviously this one in line with that nail. So the first time you do it, I don't recommend cutting any, because you want your lines as straight as you can get them. I mean, you can measure that this is your nail distance, 2 inches if it's 2 inch. But if you keep your pom-poms uncut, it's easier to follow the lines you've already made. So take it around twice, tie it, but then finger around your long piece, hold this one, and keep wiggling it and pulling it. It will tighten. You can tie it, you can wiggle it and pull it some more, and then tie it, knot it, cut it off. So I'll show you that again. Through, around, and through again. Before you tighten it, make sure it's lined up. Grab both ends, wiggle and pull, tighten, grab them again, wiggle and pull, tighten, and then tie it. So what you're going to do when you're tying this one is, you want to change, when you're doing the wiggle and pull, change the fingers that you're wrapping it around. Even one there, one there, one there, one there. Because it's really rough this way. You'll get blisters quicker. So, yeah, so these ones pink. This one will be tied in pink. This one will be tied in pink. That one will be tied in this pink and this pink. And then that one will be tied in this pink. So, original pink, one of each pink, new pink. So this is where I'm at. I'm not sure if I said it, but when you're tying, you're lining up with each nail. So you've got to imagine the horizontals. You can cut as you go to release the tension like I am, but I would leave 3 rows uncut. So I did mean to leave this uncut, just so that you've got a more accurate measure with you in line with the nails. So it will look like it's going off a little bit. So like, oops. Mine's sort of veering down slightly, but when it comes off the frame, it will pull together and that will be sorted out. So when you cut, you are cutting still exactly in the middle. Make sure you don't get any of the back. It's actually really easy to snip the back on this design. You don't want to be doing that because you'll have to pull the threads out and the back will end up thinner. So this is quite difficult one-handed, but where your cross section would be if you had your verticals is where you're cutting, or exactly in the middle of your 2 ties. This is where you're going to cut. So mine's all cut and tied, and only other thing, remember your seam. So when you cut your top row and your bottom row, there's no seam on the sides because you're not cutting that way. But yeah, just be aware of your seam. You don't want to cut through the seam when you cut your pom-poms. And to remove off the frame, it's just the same as the others. Snip in between each nail, all the way around. Leave the corners till last, and you're done.